PP a good idea?
Well, it passed and it's been upheld.
That's not what I asked you.
And from my point of view, I want us to move forward on this. Certainly the citizens spoke, and this is what the people of Pleasanton want. And I don't recommend that we continue to fight this. Certainly there are some elements of
Continue to fight what?
Fight whether or not we build on Oak Grove, or whether or not we build the Oak Grove development. And I believe that with the latest court ruling, it's up to the owners of Oak Grove to continue the appeal process. And I believe the next step is either the California Supreme Court or one step below. And I don't know if the California Supreme Court has approved that as an option. So where we stand today, certainly there are elements of PP that are unclear or undefined, or the definition's ambiguous. And that's what we have before us. So certainly I know one of the bigger questions right now is a road considered a structure or infrastructure?
Okay, but let me take you to the bigger picture. Was PP a good idea?
Are you saying do we not want to, is it a good idea not to build on the hills? Is that what you're asking me to answer?
PP was pretty specific on what it said. Yeah.
Yes.
Was it something you supported at the time?
So I actually was in business school during the time. I was not in Pleasanton. And so it wasn't something that I was here for. At this point in time, I support it because that's what the voters have voted, and that's what the courts have upheld.
Yeah.
So I have a voting record on this. I voted for the Oak Grove project. I was moved over into the Planning Commission in the middle of that. I went and looked at the 51 homes where they were sited. I walked on the top of the ridge where the trails were going to be, and I thought it was a very fair trade-off for the 500 acres of open, or nearly 500 acres of open space that we were going to get for the 51 homes that I felt were reasonably sited. It's no secret, it was turned over. We had PP.
Turned over. Overturned?
I'm sorry, yeah, referended.
Right.
Sorry. I did not support PP during the campaign. I wanted to go for the QQ option. However, PP is law, and as a planning commissioner, it's no longer about what I think should happen on the hills, it's what the voters said. Now to some of the ambiguities of it, we just went through them at the Planning Commission and voted. They included things like road as a structure, inventory of the ridge lines, man-made slopes, how do we deal with those? And how do you measure slope, and I think there was one more. It was not.
So what do you see as the message in PP?
The message in the PP is that people want to see the tops, the ridges, the tops of the surrounding hills free of structures. And I just walked into a bad trap there with roads. But they want to be able to see the natural beauty of the hills. Or the ridges, actually, would be.
And are you good with that at this point?
It doesn't matter what I am. It's.
That's not what I asked you, though. I know it. It does matter to me whether you are.
I am actually good with it at this point. And so, as we have an application, Lund Ranch 2, it's been through the Planning Commission once on a workshop. Unfortunately, I was in DC taking care of a sick daughter, and I didn't actually get to sit for that. But we're going to be seeing that here, I think, shortly, and it's going to come into.
Before I let you go on this
okay.
one, okay.
And I voted road as a structure, so that's public record. As I said, I'm the only one here with a voting record.
Okay. At the time of PP and QQ seemed like the council had a long time. They could have, it was sort of a day late and a dollar short. How do you defend QQ at that point?
Well, I mean, I wasn't really part of QQ at that point.
I know, but you said you supported QQ.
Well, I supported QQ in the context of definitions and defining things.
But it didn't really define or do
No, it ended up not being what I thought,
yeah.
what I expected. No question about it. And that's partly why we're having trouble now, or we're having to take this time and you know, have these long...
No, PP, what we're going over now is PP. My question to you is, how could you have supported how did you support QQ at the time? You know, editorially we sort of said, you know, well, this would have been fine maybe if you made this promise 10 years ago, but this is basically what you said you were going to do 10 years ago.
Right, I understand.
I mean, how in that time did you defend
So
it?
here's my thing with the PP, what my issue with the PP was, and we're facing it now. When you have, you know, the voter written initiatives, sometimes they're not as clear as they could be or maybe need to be, and I think witness the 2.5 hour discussion we had at the Planning Commission meeting the other night on trying to define some of these terms for PP and agree on them. And so I would rather have seen, you know, more of a definition with community input. I can't say that what the council did was right in not addressing it. I mean, they let it go too long.
We would have preferred to have seen that too.
Right.
But at a certain point, it was fish and
that's why I'm saying at this point I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, we were saying it was long overdue.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to understand from your perspective,
well,
how in that point in time, 4.5 years ago or whatever it was,
but see, I think
that you thought we should go even longer.
Well, but I didn't want to go any longer. I mean, I thought frankly that QQ would force the issue and the discussion and the definitions.
There was no time requirement in QQ.
I thought there was.
As I recall.
I think there was actually, because we got into that as part of the discussion with PP. But and I think as an example, I think even QQ said that they were to do an inventory of ridges, which is now something we're debating on PP. Okay. My issue with PP was that you get into things where not everything is clear and defined, and as I said, we're dealing with that now on the Lund Ranch 2 application, and whenever Oak Grove comes through, we'll have that issue then, unless we get it all defined now.
David?
Okay.
Your PPs and QQs?
Okay. I'm for PP, and here's why. We've always had...
Well, you were for PP,
well,
I see.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
I support
Okay.
PP. All right, our general plan has always had provisions in it to protect hillsides and slopes and things like that, but it was very vague. So we needed to define what we needed to protect and what we weren't going to protect. So from that perspective, I like PP because it defines, it puts it down in writing what the expectations are. There may be aspects of it that people don't or do like about it, but that's what I really, at least we now have, we have it defined for people who want to do things that they can follow. That brought up some issues that we need to address, but my point here, the city has had lots and lots of years to go about defining this stuff, put it in the general plan, and we wouldn't have had to have a PP. So the citizens got frustrated at that delay, and they put their own initiative up, and I support that. That's what citizen initiatives are for. When the government doesn't respond, the citizens can take action. Happy for any follow-ups, but that's my statement.
And he's sticking to it.
Yeah, that's right. Get some water right here.
It's an undue advantage.
Yeah.
Mark.
Well, I definitely support PP. It's what the people want. It's what I want. It's not just about the ridgelines. It's also about the habitats. It's about our trees. It's about a lot of things. 5,000 people wanted PP, okay? QQ to me is about money. How do we avoid litigation? How do we avoid getting sued?
What do you mean it was about money?
Well, I mean, it's costly. It's costly to fight these battles. There's litigation that could arise from it.
QQ is about money, about...
In the essence that it will cost us money.
It would have...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It would have cost you money if what?
For litigation. I mean,
for litigation over the project?
Right.
So you're saying that was a litigation avoidance measure?
Yes, and that's why I don't agree. I didn't agree with QQ. I agree with PP.
I see.
And also, with PP, there's still ends up, we need to close these loopholes that, that are out there. And it's somewhat done that, I think.
Okay, so is a road a street, or is a road a building?
Structure.
A structure?
A road's a structure because when you look on a hillside, you see a road going up, it sure looks the same.
David, is a road a structure?
A road is not a structure. I don't tell my kids, look both ways before you cross the structure.
Okay. Okay.
And also on top of that,
I-
if it is a structure, it becomes too easy of a tool for obstructionists to prevent roads from going in anywhere there's a slope.
Olivia, is a road a structure?
Me? No, I consider a road infrastructure, and that's actually how we would segment these types of projects at Autodesk. Certainly with construction projects, we would have the different types of projects, and we would have infrastructure as one.
So when I'm hearing a road is a structure, a road is not a structure. Right? Do I have that right?
Correct.
I would say a road is infrastructure.
Infrastructure.
Well, I understand that
Okay.
would not be a structure.
Okay,
correct?
sure.
Will it be
Okay.
banned by PP?
Well, wait a minute, PP doesn't ban it unless it's 25% or more.
On 25% slope, is it considered a structure, and therefore it can't be done? That's the question.
That's the question, right?
Yes,
And,
it's not a
and the
structure,
question
yeah.
is a road considered a structure under PP? Right?
Yes.
Okay. And you say
I voted yes at the planning commission.
and you say no.
No.